Hello friends, welcome back. It's been a while since I recorded anything due to the internet service at home being faulty, and I ended up replacing my router and everything is fine right now. I'm back to business. So today we are going to do a flight with the Airbus A320 using the fly-by-wire A32NX mod. We are currently parked at Gatwick Airport in the United Kingdom. We are parked at gate 119er and we will be flying from Gatwick to Echo Golf Juliet Bravo. Can't remember the name of the destination airport. That's what I'm looking at right now. St. Peter Port. It's an island off the coast of UK. So that's what we will be doing today. I haven't flown since the latest patch, so that will be a test of the latest patch as well. And we will look into some other options that are now possible with the fly-by-wire mode, like the Simbrief integration, so on and so forth. Let's jump into the cockpit and let's just start programming the aircraft. We are cold and dark. First things first, let's turn on the batteries, arm the emergency exit lights and the crew oxygen supply, and let's turn on the external power. Now we can start aligning our IRS system, and as you see, the AC is kicking in. And before doing that, let's just adjust the brightness of the screens just a tiny bit to have more visibility, because it's bright outside. That looks good. That looks good. Some integrated lighting there. Some integrated lighting here at the pedestal panel. And finally, integrated lighting at the overhead panel. So far so good. IRS will be aligned in 7 minutes. Let's jump here. And let's first take a look at the options. So to integrate Simbrief, you need to go to the options, AOC, Simbrief, and then put your Simbrief username here. So if your username has an underscore, you cannot use it as of now. I think the developer version of the mod has a fix for that, but I am using the stable version, so that's why you can't. The user ID is your pilot ID. Alternatively, you can use this. I haven't tested that. I will be testing this in the next one. But you can give it a try and leave me a comment if this is what it is and if it's working, if you plug your pilot ID from Simbrief to here. The username is something I created. This is a separate Simbrief account I have for the Discord channel for group flights, and that's what I have no problems with showing it to you guys as well. Okay, that's the first thing you do. Metar source, I'm using the simulator's weather right now, but I can pick any of these. But we will be using the live weather in the simulator, so let's leave it as is. And the free text is that you can text other aircraft, but we are not doing it today. Using this menu, you can enable and disable free text. Okay, so that's how you enter your Simbrief account details. Then how you import the flight plan. Well, go to the init page, and then we are going to init a request, which will connect to Simbrief and then pull everything for our flight plan we created in there. Cost index, departure and destination, flight number, so on and so forth. Next page, zero fuel weight and block fuel. We are not going to do it right now. What we are going to do is we are going to go into the performance, ATSU menu, and then AOC, and then init press. This is the flight plan. You can get these details by initializing initializing, wow, I can't speak, the data request, and from there, so I want you to take a look at this. So now we have almost 9.5 tons of fuel on board. Okay, so we go to performance, weight and balance, block fuel, and we send a request for operational flight plan, and then this is the block fuel that it should load when we click this. And now aircraft fuel amount has changed. So I'm not sure why it is not matching 5037, which is our block fuel. It is close, but I am not sure. I need to ask it on the Discord of fly-by-wire. And the next page is the payload. As you see, our gross weight shows here right now. As I hit this and load, now our gross weight is changed. Our zero fuel weight is calculated. Zero fuel weight, center of gravity is calculated too. All good. So let's go back, and let's go back to the flight plan menu. So now what's left to us is to select our SID for departure. And for that, let's take a look at the chart, shall we? As you see here, this is our departure, and we have some altitude restrictions, and we have a certain restriction for 4000, so that will be our initial climb altitude, and then from there we will climb to our cruise altitude, which is 22,000 feet, or flight level 220. This is our departure. We are departing from runway 26 left, taking 257 radial and climbing to above 2500 and taking a left turn to Midhurst VOR station, and then from there to Noma waypoint, passing that waypoints Mid and Noma at 4000 feet, following that radial until we reach Southampton, and then from there we are on our way to our destination. So that's the chart. So let's pick our departure, which is going to be runway 26 left, and our SID, if you have seen that in the Simbrief Navigraph window, it's Noma 1 X-ray. So let's scroll down a little bit. Noma 1 X-ray, that one right there. So that's our departure, and while we are doing this, let me switch to plan mode, and that yellow line is representing what we are trying to enter right now. Green is what's accepted or what's executed or inserted into the flight plan. So we will insert this, and you will see that yellow line disappearing, and it's going to become the green line, right, like so. So that's our departure. We will worry about the destination when we are close. Let's turn on the flight director, and let's turn on the constraints so that we see our altitude constraints on the PFD. Our initial climb will be 4000, and we are going to do a selected climb, because last flight I did with the A320, it was overshooting that restriction, so we are going to follow that restriction by doing it a selected climb. That is that, and I think that's all. Let's increase the brightness of standby altimeter. Let's put the terrain on the ND, and all left right now is to go in to the MCDU and do our performance calculations. So flaps, thermable horizontal stabilizer deflection is not affecting anything as far as I know as of today. So I'm going to put it as up 0.0. So that means we are going to set the trim at 0. Flex temperature, there is a website you can calculate this. I usually don't bother that much and use something between 50 60. 60 should be good. Transition altitude, let me check Sim Toolkit Pro for that. So transition altitude is 6000 for United Kingdom, or at least for Gatwick if it's airport specific. So that's there. And now we can hit the V1, it will calculate the V speeds for us. V2, oh I'm sorry, V rotate and then V2. That is that. So that means after 134 knots we can start retracting our flaps. Let's go back to arc mode. We have 1 more minute before the GPS is aligned, but we can use that time to turn on the fuel pumps. We do not have any fuel in the center tanks. They are empty, so there is no need to turn on the center tank fuel pumps. And now we can start the APU. The APU is starting. As you see, this screen changed to APU. GPS is now aligned, which is good. Let's just do it 40-mile range. And that is set. The aircraft was able to follow 250 knots below 10,000. So let's see if that happens. I'm going to leave it as managed speed, managed heading, selected altitude. I will throw in a transponder code there. We are not using ATC, but I will set 1017 as the transponder code. Set it to auto and set this to TA while we are on the ground. Engine switches needs to be off. I left them on. That's my bad from previous trying and failing to set up the Trustmaster TCA officer pack. I was messing with the sensitivity settings to make the throttle match the detents like so, and I did that. So if any of you is using the TCA throttle or TCA officer pack, this one I made a profile called Airbus, and these are my sensitivity settings for the throttle, which matches the detents if you set them like this, at least for my controller, but you can try. This is what I'm using. And I also changed the sensitivity for my rudder, but I feel like this is too much, so I'm going to drop it down to 40% sensitivity on both sides of the axis. That is done, and hopefully the APU will be online here in a second. From there, I think we are ready for pushback and be on our way. So in the meantime, I think what we can do is we can take a look at our taxi route in Sim Toolkit Pro. Let me zoom out and bring the Sim Toolkit Pro window over there so you guys can see. There you go. So this is the Sim Toolkit Pro map. We are parked here. It is saying 24, and we know oops, my bad. We know the parking stands in Microsoft Flight Simulator is not matching the real world. So that is probably true. And I am using a custom scenery for Gatwick, which I can show you if I go outside, and it exactly says 24. This is a beautiful free scenery for Gatwick. You can find this on Flight Sim TO, and I will put a link to this airport scenery in the description field of this video. But this was an amazing find for me. Let me show you around real quick before we push back. This is a great work provided for free, and it looks beautiful. It is a great scenery. I suggest you go and get it for yourself. Alright, APU is online. We can turn the APU bleed on and turn off the external power now. Let's adjust the cabin. We don't want that cold. It is already cold outside, so let's adjust the heat, and I think we are ready for pushback. So let's call the pushback tag. For pushback I am using a pushback helper add-on. It's free. It helps you to connect the jetway or call the fuel truck or activate the pushback without talking to ATC. And as you see, the tug is driving up and connecting. Now we can release the parking brake and we will be ready to start our engines as we start pushing back. And where we are going is, we are going to push the tail to the right, actually left. We are going to push the tail to the left, take taxiway Juliet, and then Zulu, Mike, and to the runway. So that's the taxi route for today. So pushing the tail to the left. Okay, the pushback started. Let's start engine number 1, and it should be this guy starting, and then I will order the type to push us to the left here in a second. And how I adjust that while I'm in the cockpit is there is a white line that I reference for. So when I see this white line from my side window, I tell him to push us to the left, and by the time we finish the pushback you will see we are pretty much going to be aligned with the taxiway when the pushback tug finishes its job. So engine number 1 is starting. Okay, that is the taxiway, so we can stop the pushback, set the parking brake for now until we start the engines. Engine 1 is good, so let's start engine number 2. I'm using my TCA throttle quadrants engine start buttons. That's why I'm not looking down to see it. We can always do that. Not worried about the radios. Let's flip this to flight plan page. I haven't checked any for any discontinuities, but there weren't any. So now we can set the transponder to TARA, arm our spoilers, set the flaps to 1. That's good. Auto brakes to max. And one thing I didn't do is I haven't turned on the beacon while starting the engines. That's not a good practice. We'll turn on the nav lights. We'll turn on the taxi lights for now. We don't need a wing light. We can keep the strobe on auto until we reach the hold short point of the runway. And the last thing is, because we are ready to taxi, we'll turn on the predictive wind shear and we put the weather on the pilot side along with the traffic. Alright, all looking good. Engines are online. Now that means we can, oops, wrong button, we can turn off the APU and we can be on our way. Parking brake is released, apply some power, and we should start moving. Alright. I will keep taxiing along this taxi route and I will bring you guys back or speed up the video to keep it at a reasonable length, because latest videos I posted are close to an hour and I want them to be around 30-40 minutes, not an hour. This is our taxi route. Juliet, as you see right there, and we are taking a right turn from here. Let's slow down just a little bit. I feel like we are going too fast. Alright, turn from here. That is the okay, overshot the turn a little bit, probably we were fast. And then from here, now what we are doing is, actually we missed our turn, so we will take another turn. I don't know if the Sim Toolkit Pro ground map is not matching with what we have in the simulator. I took the exact turn that I supposed to take, and it looks like we are on a different taxiway now. So we will swing back using this taxiway and go right and take a left turn from there. Somewhat the sensitivities are not quite right. I don't like the way my rudder pedals are acting right now, but I don't want to stop to fix them. They are oversensitive, I believe, still. So this has been a challenge for me to adjust the sensitivities in the simulator, and with each patch they are changing some stuff, and all the controls and the bindings are messing up after each patch. So, well, about to enter the runway. Let's make this turn. That looks good. So now we turn on the landing lights, runway turn off lights. Oops, I knew it, I knew it. Okay, better now. And then we turn on the strobe back, and now I think we are good to start our takeoff roll. Okay, let's stop here and do our checks for takeoff. TO config test, okay. Passenger signs on, and then cabin. That's easy. Now all should be good. Yep. And we are ready to roll. Apply some power. Engines are stabilizing. Now takeoff thrust set. Trying to maintain the center line here. Our V rotate is 134. As you see on the PFD, it's coming up, the magenta arrow. So we rotate, pull back on the stick. Oops, don't lose the runway heading there. And positive rate. Gear is coming up. And now we are getting close to the flap speed. We can retract the flaps. All is good. And flying for now, climbing slowly. One thing I didn't do is I didn't set the QNH. I did right now, that's why altitude changed unexpectedly. Turn on the autopilot, and let's hope it is going to manage the speed. Pull back to climb speed, because we are already over speeding. Hopefully it will come back. Yes, it will. Now I see the speed right there. Good. So we are climbing to 4,000. Hopefully it will stop at 4,000. And I will show you why. By pulling the Sim Toolkit Pro window one more time over here. There you go. So you see, that is the altitude restriction. Until there we are going to stay around 4,000. All good. Now what we will do is, okay, looks like we are slowing down. That means the aircraft is okay, anti-ice. It's warning me to turn on the anti-ice systems. Let's do that. Engine anti-ice on, probe heat on, and wing anti-ice on. We can turn off the nose light and runway turn off lights and leave the landing lights until we reach 10,000. But good departure, everything looks great. We are following the restriction manually, but at least we are following it until that waypoint. Let's change the range to make sure until there, normal. Alright. Looks like everything is looking good. Aircraft is following the speed restriction. We can disarm the ground spoilers now, and that's all we need to do to take care of or configure after takeoff. Alright, I am trying to put something here. Let's see. Copy that. Paste it here. Alright. There we go. Now you guys should see the overlay at the top and the flight stages and so on and so forth. Very good, very good. So probably I'll keep you guys until we pass that waypoint, and then I will start climbing to our initial climb, cruise altitude 220, and I'll bring you guys back when we are close to descent after that point. But so far with the new patch, I think the mod is working. Looks like I didn't notice anything bad or broken so far, except that I don't know if it's something that's broken afterwards. It was following the restrictions with managed climb, but it's not right now. So make sure you climb with a selected altitude until you clear the restrictions, like so, which we will hear in a second. So you see we are coming close to that, and then we will switch that to managed mode, because we don't have anything to follow in terms of restrictions after normal, and that's where we are coming close right now. Interesting weather in UK. Pretty much good cloud coverage with sun shining. Okay, we are passing normal. That means we can climb to 220. Let's set that up. 220. Press that, and now the aircraft should take care of the rest, and it will start climbing by itself until 22,000 feet. Alright, I will silence myself, speed up this part of the video for you guys rather than cutting and bringing you guys back, and I will come back and start talking again when we are ready to descend. See you then. Hello again, I'm back. According to SimToolkit Pro, we are almost about to hit our top of descent. So let's jump into the cockpit. Initially I will set the altitude something below 10,000 for now. Now it should start descending momentarily as we pass that top of descent. If it does not, because that's what I think is our top of descent, we will see. Well, let's do it manually. Okay, we started our descent. Let's take a look at the chart, shall we? Let me put the chart over there. As you see, this is our star to arrival to the airport, and there are no restrictions as far as I can tell. Let's take a look at the procedures, and let's add approach. What was our approach? Let me check from SimToolkit Pro. Our approach is going to be into runway 09, so and we will do an ILS to runway 09 like so. Maybe are there any other no? Okay, that's better. We'll do a teardrop to runway 09. That will do. Let's go and select our arrival. It is going to be ILS 09 through GUR 1 Zulu with a GUR transition. Insert that. That should be done. Let's go to performance. Let's go to next phase and let's plan our approach page, or let's program our approach page. Weather is going to be what? QNH is 1029er. Oops. 1029er. Temperature looks like is 5 degrees. Winds are 0 from 0 to 10 at 12 knots, and the transition altitude is 5,000. That is done. Our approach speed is going to be 133. We will keep that in mind. And let's take a look at the... Oops, I forgot the screen here. Sorry about that, guys. You probably didn't see anything while I am programming the approach. Let's take a look at the chart and we'll go back and see. So we are going to do a teardrop, taking this route, turning around and intercepting the runway at 2,000 feet. So that means we can drop the altitude all the way down to 2,000. That's good. And now we can get rid of the chart. I'm sorry about keeping the chart here. That's my bad. But what we did is, in the meantime, I programmed the approach page QNH 1029er, temperature 5 degrees Celsius, winds are from 10 degrees at 12 knots, and the transition altitude is 5,000, and our approach speed is 133. Decision height, according to the charts, or decision altitude, I'd like to use the altitude, not the height, is going to be 503. So 503. That is set. We are all good. Okay, we are coming down to 2,000. That is our destination, and let me check something on the flight plan page. So coming down there, this user waypoint, I'm not happy with this. This is inserted by the sim. There is no such thing in our flight plan. But we'll see how it calculates everything, and if it messes it up, we will take care of it as we go. Alright, we are getting close to 10,000, which we will turn on the landing lights when we pass through 10,000, but until that point in time we don't have anything to do, so I'll stop or shut up and bring you guys back when we are ready to land, and speed the video until that time. Alright guys, this is the final stage of our flight. So now I'm gonna switch to a selected speed mode and bring the speed down to 200 knots. And keep it there. Now we can technically deploy flaps 1, but I'm gonna wait just a little bit more before doing that, because from there we are going to do a 360 turn back to where we came from. And if I get a little bit closer, you'll see there are some restrictions here saying 2000 or plus, and we are well above that right now. And by the time we turn around, we will be very close to 2000 feet. Our initial approach fix is going to be 5.2 miles from the runway, which I believe is going to be, let's see here if we can tell, somewhere between this and that, I believe. We will see. We will see when that happens. When we are there, when we are making that 360 turn, I will probably activate the approach phase. This over here, I think it is already activated. Yeah, looks like the aircraft automatically activated the approach in the MCDU, and we will do the same on the autopilot panel, MCP panel in other words. Alright. We see anything outside? No, we are too high to be able to see anything right now, so we will stick to our initial plan. Let's change the range one more time for better situational awareness. We see the cloud coverage, and there are some red spots which we don't want to hit. And now we started to make that turn. That is going to be our teardrop, and then we will swing like this. It's not displayed here, but that's the teardrop pattern, and it is not shown on the ND, but this is what the turn will look like. And we will intercept the runway, localizer and glide slope when we get there. What we can do is, well, I'll wait until there. But now we started to, I think we will be fine in terms of altitude. If not, I will take control of it and bring the altitude down manually. But I think we will be just fine. We are about to make the teardrop turn. Let's go flaps 1. Okay, flaps 1 set. We are making the turn, but we are making it from the opposite side for some stupid reason. We should make this turn towards right, but I'm not sure what this guy is doing right now. It's bring the speed down to next flap speed. Thought the teardrop was from the other side. Now this thing is doing completely opposite. That's one of the things that I'm not happy about in terms of navigation and autopilot systems in Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is not a good teardrop turn. I should have taken control and gone with the managed heading. Unfortunately, it is too late to do that right now. But so be it. Hopefully we will make the turn. We'll go flaps 2 now, because we need to slow down. This turn is not ideal. We should have done this the opposite way, which would have put us to a better position. Now we need to make a 90-degree turn there. So I'll slow down to 160. Alright. And I feel like we should descend a little bit faster than this. So let's do this. Let's bring it down a little bit faster. There we go. Now we should see the descent speeding up. We're making that turn. We will now, I think, do this. Deploy the landing gear. Landing gear is deployed. Very good. And we will deploy the last level of flaps in a second. That's our speed, approach speed set. We'll switch to local altimeter. We passed 5,000. And there is the runway right there. Now we should activate the approach mode. I feel like we are a little bit high. We'll see. We will see. We will see if we can manage this landing. Flaps full now. We are too high as far as I can tell from here. That is not looking good. Let's see if we can speed this up just a little bit more to intercept and capture the glide slope. If not, we will visually land this thing. I didn't expect that turn. Looks like that turn messed everything up. Yeah, I see that. Let's bring that down. There we go. I think we need to do a nosedive to get to that altitude. So I don't see the glide slope coming in by any means. This might end up being a go around, guys. This might end up being a go around. We'll see. We still have chance. We still can get this down, but it is going to be a steep descent on final. Let's get the altitude down to 100. Yep, still too high, still too high. Still too high. This is not gonna work. I already know this is not gonna work, so let's set this to climb. Let's put landing gear and let's go around. I will go to heading mode. Okay. Now the aircraft should speed up and climb. If not, we will tell it to climb. Okay, now we are climbing. Now we can change the speed to 200. And manage it that way. And we'll just use this. And set the heading. And get to where we started at and do a proper teardrop this time. We are not descending. Come on, guy. We are not descending. Go ahead. All right, all right. Don't get mad. Let's manage the speed. You'll stay there. All right, we will do a turnaround from probably there. And we will try to land again. That is the plan. Let's see what we have here. What happens when I do this? No. Don't ever do that. No. Alright, we will aim for that user waypoint on the ND. I think that's about right. Okay. And we will do the teardrop properly this time. I know there's an altitude constraint. We are right there. I don't know why you are mad with me. All right, that looks good. Let's drop the speed. To make the turn a little bit sharper, I will set one level of flaps. All right. Now we are getting close to our turn for the teardrop, and that's what we will do from there. We can go flaps 2. We'll keep the speed around 180, and our final heading is going to be 88, so we will follow that and do that turn to heading 088 or 09er 0 for now, and let the aircraft take care of the rest. Let's start turning slowly. That is that. We should now activate the approach mode and let the aircraft do its thing. Hopefully this time we will capture the localizer and the glide slope into the runway at 5 miles, so we are 12 miles away. We should slow down just a tiny bit more. One more level of flaps. 160 looks good for now. As you see now, the turn will become a better turn because of the teardrop pattern following this route rather than that which the aircraft do it in the first try. Now we are going to line up with the runway nicely. And let me check the flaps level. Okay, we are almost flaps full. Let's drop the landing gear. 140, 130, 133, that's our approach speed. Flaps full. And we are configured for landing right now. Let's turn on the landing LSs. Let's turn it on here too, so that we see the diamonds, which I didn't do in the first try. But now everything should work fine. We'll see. Managed speed, everything else is taken care of by the aircraft. We are waiting on the localizer, which we will see here. That's why I am not seeing this. That is my question. Alright. I don't see the initiation on the ND for the glide slope, but we should. I think we still have some more distance to cover before that happens. Let me see. 8.7, so alright, course is looking okay, and I think we are on the localizer as far as I can tell. Looks like it. Let's do this and see if that changes anything. Well, see, I don't understand what's happening here. We will see. 7 miles. We should expect to capture the glide slope. If not, now this time we are at a safer distance to do it manually and do a visual. I see the diamond coming down. I see we are on the localizer. Hopefully it is going to capture 6.4, so it was 5.7 if I remember correctly. Now let's just do this. Landing configuration, everything looks fine. Ground spoilers are armed. We set the auto brakes to medium. And I think we captured the glide slope now. Looks like it. So the aircraft is descending, which is a good sign. And I see the puppy lights, 2 red, 2 white. Perfect. Now let's get the overhead nose light, runway turn off light, seatbelt signs and smoking signs on. Spoilers are armed. I don't think we will need anti-ice. Let's turn that off. And let's inform the cabin. Alright, looking good this time. That wrong turn messed it up for the first. We are not syncing, why are you yelling at us? Is that the GPWS? Looks like it. No. Well, okay, I don't know what's going on with these warnings. It's annoying though. I didn't realize that I'm trying to land. Probably that's why it's just asking, yelling at me like crazy. So, see, at least you guys get to see what is working, what is not working. Alright, we have a strong crosswind from the left. Let's get rid of the autopilot, disconnect. And my plane right now, we are coming in nice. Don't see any problems. Though wind is pushing us to the right just a tiny bit. So I'm correcting for that with my rudders and such. But just taking us down nicely. Hopefully. Nicely. Throttle to idle. Now time to flare. A little bit hard landing there. A little bit hard landing there out of the runway. So this is probably because of the ground effect changed by Microsoft and Asobo. Okay, but at least we are here. We can take this taxiway out of the runway. So it looks like I need to relearn landing, and this rudder pedal's sensitivity is not helping with my turns. To be honest, I need to adjust that sensitivity one more time. Sorry for the terrible landing. Let's stop here. Let's clean the flaps. Let's start the APU. Landing lights can now come off. Mr. Taxi, strobe can come off. Turn off that, and we are good. Alright, where are we going to taxi? That is the question. Looks like we are turning right anyway, so let's just do that right turn and find ourselves a parking spot, potentially with a jetway, if not something that might work for an aircraft this size. And this is, I think, this is it. The terminal building is on our left, right there. And the taxiways are not looking that they are super great. Okay, let's see here. I think we can just slow down and turn here. This one right there. And maybe that marshal is waiting for us, I'm not sure. Could be. Did I see a marshal there? Oh yeah, luckily he is waiting for us. How nice. At least that's something. Okay. Hey, going to tell me to stop? Don't see a darn thing. Okay. Where is that marshal? Is he saying no? Oh, Okay, I think that's good. Had to cheat a little bit there. He disappeared, so set the parking brake. Let's clean everything up. Predictive range shear can turn off. Weather can turn off. Transponder can turn off. And see, APU is available, so that means now we can turn off the taxi light. And we can turn off the nav lights too. Beacon will stay because engines are still running, but now we can kill the engines. Engine 2. Okay, that is almost done. We'll kill the other engine. Yeah. I think it is time to let the passengers out and call it a day, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry about the terrible landing. That wasn't intended, but happens. Let's clean the signs. And yep, we are good. Oh, forgot the no smoking sign. It has 2 levels. Now we are good. Alright. I think this is going to be it for today's flight, guys. Thanks for joining me one more time. And thanks for your time. And as I said, this is a beautiful, the Gatwick was a beautiful scenery, so I suggest you to go and get it for yourself. I'll place the link down in the description field. If you haven't subscribed, consider doing that for future episodes and getting notified. Happy holidays and a happy new year. I will see you in the next video.